Parashat Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha veraita. Yiratzon, the learning, should be for the refuah of all the cholim, and it should be including Tanya bat Hoda Margalit, Yosef Yair ben Avi Bachava, Harav Sivan ben Sima, Binyamin Be'er ben Chana, B'toch Kol Shar Cholei Israel, Uleilui Nishmat, Eitan Eliezer ben Mordechai, Yonatan Tuvia ben Mordechai. We were Zocha B'siyata Dishmaya to begin a journey with about 80 students in Eretz Israel during the war. Standing at the airport, we realized that on one level we need to have the energy of bringing people into Eretz Israel to become aware of how big that moment is, together with the reality of the milchama, that it's not an energy that's ignoring the war, but it's an energy that's assisting the war. And for all these Talmidim that have just walked in, for all their families, for all their educators, for all their friends, I want to try and give a little bit of an idea from this parsha, what we can see in the way that we can assist and not just acknowledge the war that's going on. And so the parsha begins, Ki tetzeh lemilchama, as you go out to war, veraita, and you'll see. What's interesting, last parsha, Mori v'Rabbi Bni Adiel Raj Shlomo read in Parshat Shoftim, not what happens during war, but how we prepare for war. And it says, Shema Yisrael. The language before the war is to listen, and during the war it's to see. What's the difference between the before the war, that we use the language of hearing, of the shofar, that we just began blasting in preparation for Rosh Hashanah, and V'ra'ita, the vision during war. And I think, to continue Rav Kook's greatest student, Rav HaNazir, in Kol HaNevuah, that he speaks about the difference between hearing and seeing, continued in the language of Mori v'Rabbi, Rav Re'em, to differentiate hearing and seeing. Hearing is something that is associated with doubt. That's why the judges need to hear, because they need to be in a situation of 50-50. They need to sit and recognize the doubt of the world. Whereas vision is associated with clarity, which is why the witnesses need to see, because their job is to bring clarity. And so, hearing is associated with doubt, and vision is associated with clarity. Before we start the war, Shema Yisrael, we say doubt is a gift. It creates questions, and those questions are what make us genuine. Looking at these 80 students, many questions on their mind. Why am I here? What should I learn? How will I find friends? How will this impact my future? That is the reality that is meant to be before the war. We need to be able to realize that Hashem gives us two eyes, which means that there are two perspectives, which innately creates doubt. There are two sides. An optimist and a pessimist see the same thing from a different perspective. Those are the two eyes. Choose which one you want. That's the world that Hashem gave. That's the doubt. That's a gift. That it's asking us to get involved and to ask questions. But once you're Ki tetzeh lemilchama, you're in the war, v'ra'ita. Relate yourself to the world of clarity. The idea of clarity is confidence within yourself. We're at a time of war, and we ask, how can we assist and not just watch? How can we be le'artsecha and not just be'artsecha? How can we do for the land and not just be in the land? How can we not just be kadosh, but be mikadesh? How can we fight forward? How can we not just be sameach, but misameach, bringing joy? And I think the idea of vera'ita is to say to an individual, yes, there are questions, but there is what's called your identity. And within your identity, you need to have clarity. You need to believe in your ability to have impact, in your ability to look forward and transform what you can. You cannot transform everything. You can transform something. And the something you transform is the everything that Hashem wants. And therefore, my bracha, as we walk in Kititzelem Milchama, Aloivecha Vera'ita, to bless these Talmidim, together with all the Talmidim of Am Yisrael, together with all the families of Am Yisrael, and obviously all the soldiers of Am Yisrael. No question that we're in a time of many doubts, but we also, with that, need to stand tall with clarity in our abilities and know our ability, make it into a responsibility, or else our ability becomes a disability.